Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are well. It is Kopano Moshwana, aka Kopano the Brand, your lovely host of the 5-part series, People Behind the Brand. Today, we're going to have part 3 of our 5-part series, and we have such an amazing guest with us today. And for those that have never, seen me or don't know me, welcome. Please make sure that you watch the first 2 episodes so you get to understand their stories, and I hope that you'll find impact through it. So, today's guest, I'm so excited. I feel like this person doesn't really need much of an intro, but I will give him an opportunity to actually talk. But he's done absolutely amazing stuff in the SMME community. He's built a very formidable brand for himself, as well as entrepreneurs that seek that motivation and hope within their journey. Without further ado, welcome, Mashudu Modau.
Thank you so much for having me, Kopano.
How are you?
I am having a very chaotic day. But overall,
got you.
I feel very good.
No,
I feel
absolutely.
strong and excited for the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for making the time to really tell your story and really just inspire our audience just around your story. So before we get into the nitty-gritties of personal branding and the effects of it, who's the person behind this brand? Who is Mashudu?
Sure. That's such an interesting...
Yeah.
I haven't had someone ask me who I am in a very long time.
Yeah.
But not from an arrogant place of like...
Absolutely,
oh, no,
titles.
No.
We're removing that. The person. Absolutely.
Yeah, just like a super passionate person about the empowerment of others. I care very deeply about this country. I care about the young people in this country. And I've sort of centered my work and my life around building things, making things that can help drive the young people in this country into a better sort of future. Behind, I don't know what you want me to say.
No, I think
I have no brothers. I have no sisters. I'm Venda.
Yes.
If the name wasn't obvious enough.
Thank you. Just to educate the audience, right? No, thank you so much. I think quite simply, you seem to be a very humble guy, simple guy that had a mission and want to just inspire the next person. That's what I received from your brand. And that's why I even have you in the seat, because I've seen the work that you've done, especially in the small, medium, enterprise community, and really just seeing the positive impact that it has created as well for those people that you're impacting. So now that we sort of understand a bit about who Mashudu is, let's get into your career journey or your business journey. And how has your personal brand as Mashudu or Mash Startup really played a role in the success and impact that you have currently?
Yeah, so I don't think we start this journey with like, I decided I want to be a personal brand.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be famous for helping others. I don't think that's where we start. I think we start, like you mentioned, with the mission, right? So I tried to start a business, which is like a digital platform for matriculants to get past papers, and got significant amount of people to use that platform. But that significant amount of people never turned into money because I didn't understand monetization and all of that. So audience building, I've always been great at. I know how to get people excited about something and care about that thing and try and get those people to do something with that.
Yeah.
So that's where it started. It's like, can I build something that solves a problem for enough people that they care? The next level was like monetization, building a sustainable business.
Yes.
Went into an incubator and then found my next problem I wanted to solve. When you go through South Africa's startup ecosystem, even 10 years ago, and it's somewhat true now, it's very difficult to navigate.
100%.
Where are the places that will help you be able to build the things that you care about the best ways, right? Who are the people that are going to enable you to do those things in the best possible way? Who are the people that will take you from start to scale in a faster, better experience where you, at the end of this, can build a sustainable business? And I thought, this process needs to be better.
Yeah.
And I've sort of spent the last 10 years or so just like working on that. So I started working on this about 10 years ago. And then I met an incredible business in around 2016, which is Yoko.
Yes.
And the team was like, hey, we see the energy that you're sort of generating for small businesses, for startups, for entrepreneurs. We'd like you to do that, but do it for our business, right? So at the time, I'm spending my own money, my own resources, and just purely just energy, right? Like my family is just like, yo, you're doing such cool things, but where's the money?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if Yoko's willing to let me do this, but not just pay me a salary, but like enable me in a really meaningful way.
Yeah.
Here are all the resources for you to build a meaningful community around small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups, and help them be able to find community with each other, connect with great resources that can enable them to grow at a faster rate and do great things. Spent about 5 years doing that. And in between and up till now, part of that journey is just playing the role of like an enabler across the ecosystem, working with different organizations, Red Bull, UNDP, Accenture at some point, and all these different organizations, really to like, where can we drive the most impact for entrepreneurs in this country? Hey, Mash, what do you think we should be doing? Hey, Mash, come into what we're trying to do. Help us amplify it. Help us drive it in the most meaningful way that it can actually drive meaningful impact. So whether that's education, tools, resources. So that's really the whole journey. It's like just playing this different parts of different roles and then just partnering with really great people who have the same vision as I have, which is like, if we solve unemployment, and I unfortunately am of the belief the jobs are not coming. And if the jobs are not coming, that we need to get more people to be self-employed.
Absolutely.
And then try and get those self-employed people to go from self-employed to running a sustainable business to hiring more people. And then we can change something. And then this country's sort of future looks very, very different.
Absolutely.
So that alignment of mission across my journey is just like finding the right people who can really power that mission and then really, really drive that impact as well.
I love that. So you said a really key statement there around alignment, right? And vision and having a mission, which is very centralized to actually creating that impact that you're looking for. So how has the personal brand, you as a person, as Mashudu, played a role in these, business dealings with such phenomenal brands?
Yeah. I don't think you can separate it, right? Like the personal brand. And I think there's definitely a more academic, strategic way of building a personal brand where you have sort of a checklist of 12 things you should be doing. I don't do those type. I haven't never been able to. I don't know what that checklist looks like. I could probably try and find those lists of things that I did retrospectively. But in the process, what it looked like was just creating as much possible content, resources, platforms, engagements, events, experiences where people come into contact with entrepreneurship in a way that helps them see themselves in it, right? Like, can we create an experience for entrepreneurs that brings them in the room with other people who are at their stage, or maybe slightly higher, or maybe slightly below, where that engagement helps them try and start driving growth in different ways? It's like, can you create an experience like that? Can you create content like that? So I centered everything that I was doing online around how do I ensure that everything I'm putting out, everything I'm sharing, everything I'm creating and building was really going to drive impact for entrepreneurs in South Africa. This wasn't specific to small businesses, which are very traditional in trades and other areas, or startups that are very technology enabled or whatever it is. It was really just, okay, you are starting something to try and solve a problem. Can we get you in a room with people who could do the same? Can we create spaces online, offline that can do the same? And it really isn't separate, right? Unfortunately, I am
such an interesting
I am like burdened
perspective on that, actually.
I am like burdened with purpose to drive impact for entrepreneurs in South Africa. I don't have a strategic answer for this where I'm like, oh no, what I did was I opened a page and then I did this.
No, I hear you.
It was just
I hear you.
Can we create the
that.
most amount of energy? And I like to use the word energy more than I use the word inspiration. I think it's the same for motivation. It's like energy, which is like, can we catalyze something in you that goes, And one of the things that sort of blew up on Instagram and Twitter, or Instagram and TikTok, was sort of the tweets format, right?
Yeah.
Which is like just putting really great messaging around building things on great visuals, right?
Yes.
At first, I didn't understand why it worked. It was like, oh no, is it the message or is it the visuals? It's like, oh no, it was the combination of both. Of like, you are talking about entrepreneurship, but you're showing me a reality that I see every day, that I experience every day.
Yes.
I needed the combination of them to see myself as the word entrepreneur is big
Yeah, it is.
for a lot of people.
It is.
But if you said, "Ke a iperekela,"
Yeah, it's a different
oh
thing,
no,
you know?
I know that.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
someone who's been
Eh,
self-employed. You
yeah.
know someone who started a business.
100%, 100%.
So I think my mission was like, can we create enough energy for people to go, oh yeah, I can be the person that takes the skills that I have, the knowledge that I have, the abilities that I have to try and create something that can generate me income, get me to a sustainable pace, get me to even start a business in a very formal way, and do all of that. Yeah.
Amazing. So I just want to quickly touch on your perspective, right, around how you feel like a personal brand and a business brand is sort of not separated, which is quite interesting. And I think that's the whole purpose, guys, of interviewing the different people. We get to see their process and it's different, right? And I love what you said around you just don't have a strategy. You're just being
no.
yourself, essentially, right?
I'm sure
You're just being yourself.
I'm sure there's people that are very academic about the personal branding
Of course,
space. I
yeah,
mean, you are very much an
absolutely.
expert here where here's the checklist. I don't have one.
So you know what's so beautiful about this is that even though I might, I guess, give a checklist through me being an expert, a lot of my journey of transitioning to creating a personal brand was because I was just myself as Kopano. Honestly, I got to sort of see the process of when clients work with me, they're not working with KPRM or all the other associated, entities that I'm a part of, but they were working with Kopano. They loved the direct energy exchange experience with Kopano or the team members thereof, etc. Right? And I think in that moment, I realized that, okay, there is quite a beauty here where when you come through as who you are and there is some sort of value that's being, really portrayed through this way you're showing up, it somewhat feeds into the business as well. So this is me, my personal experience. And this is why I actually wanted to create this platform so I can get more people and understand what was your process. Was it something organic, like the way I sort of realized, okay, there's something there. But I think I'll take it a step further to say, once I realized that people are doing business with me, I started thinking around what other untapped potentials about myself do I want to feed into?
Yeah.
And then that's when I realized I love speaking. I love teaching. But I might not necessarily be doing that through the businesses, but I might have an opportunity to do it as myself, as Kopano. And I think that's where the personal branding thing was really came into, shape. And I want to understand with your process, although you say they sort of not separated, do you believe though that you as Mashudu sort of built or it sort of fed into the entities or whatever that you're involved in as a person?
Yeah. I think early on, especially when you say a small business or even just like in our case where you're an independent consultant, you're coming into businesses to try and solve problems.
100%.
It's really primarily, hey, you are coming in here to solve a problem. I don't even think most people that I've worked with would even say Mash startup first. They would say Mashudu and they would say Mash, right? No, I'm working with Mash and we're doing this and this and this and this is how it works, right? So there's two parts to this. I think when you think about the really great brands, right? Real companies that drive impact in people's lives, I'd name Yoka as one of those, right? So you've got companies that have reverence in people's lives where I understand the value it brings. Before, they have this whole thing of like principles, values, how we present ourselves, how we speak, our tone, our language, our visual style,
100%.
all these things that are very academic and like very structured in their ability of
curated.
things. I think once you create those things for yourself, it's very much easier to start doing business with people, right? Because then they go, oh, I know Mash. I understand his messaging. I know how he speaks and communicates. I understand what he believes in. And this is the most important part, I think, with personal brands is like, if people can communicate a lot more about what they believe in and why it really matters, right? And be able to translate why it matters to them to people who also care about certain things. And there's some level of alignment between what I care about and what's important to you, then we can come together to create something
100%.
originally, right? And sort of going into that sort of collaboration conversation where it's like, what makes a great collaboration is if something cannot exist without the two people coming together, that's a great collaboration. But if one person goes out and that thing could still stand, it means it wasn't a great collaboration.
That's
it was just
true.
like, oh no, come in.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of like influencer sort of, you see the influencer thing where we believe there's a personal brand and the brand comes in, but what we want you to do is just fit into what we're doing. We're not necessarily collaborating or co-creating something original
Yes.
of value, right?
Yes.
So I do think like once you create those systems of what you believe in, why it matters, how you work, what's your cycles of like, when do we get this out? Who are we trying to reach? All these
Exactly.
things.
Why should they care?
Why should they care? If you create those things for yourself, it's so much easier to then take those things and create them for a business and that business to stand alone. So I love the conversation about personal brands, but there's also a conversation about the caveat of personal brands, right? So if you now start a business, right, and that business lives on its own on its existence, but it also heavily relies on you being the feeder of that thing. There's the great part where it's like, I know Mash, I can trust him to do this thing the way I know, because I know what he believes and I know what he cares about.
I've seen his process.
I've seen his process. And then there's the other side of that. What if Mash flips out tomorrow? He acts different. He changes that behavior. So there's a risk to that also, right? So you've seen businesses that were linked to personal brands and the person abandoning the values that they started or originated that thing with, abandoning those things, that business not being able to stand without them as part of this thing, and then falling apart. So there is definitely still like a risk when you're going from, okay,
100%.
I had a personal brand, but now I want to scale. I want the business to stand on its own. How do you transition? And I'd love to get your thoughts on this.
Yes,
It's like,
absolutely.
how do you go from, I have a personal brand, people understand me, they hire me because they want to work with me. But now I need to scale to a team of 10, team of 100. And I want you to still trust that what we'll do here is still what you'll get when it was just me.
Yes, absolutely. I love that question. And I think it sort of goes back to what I was saying. I think, in my opinion, separating the two is a lot more safer in the long run. Reason being is, as much as, yes, people came for you for a certain thing, your value system, etc., it allows you to then still get the same people wanting to do work with you for that same reason, while independently still building a separate entity and somewhat using the personal brands to sort of filter and trickle that traffic to what your business does, right? So in my opinion, I think it's better to separate, because once they're the same thing, what happens if Mash decides to flip out or crash out tomorrow?
Yeah, crash out.
You know, because the crashing out is a real thing,
I'm
guys.
just there on
Do you
Twitter, just like,
understand?
you know what, actually.
I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this country, everything, you know, you're just going and spazzing out. So now people, what sucks is that once you combine the personal brand and the business brand, it's so sad. But what we find is that they won't disagree with just what Mash said, but they might just disagree with founder source and anything that's attached to Mash. And then it gets a bit sticky.
Do you think that there's specific points where that separation needs to happen?
I think it is about creating both brands independently, right? So if the business brand is a certain thing, what's that mission? What is the why of that brand? And who's the audience? Because fundamentally, the audience will sort of be different, right? Because they're going to get a different vibe from you as the person, but not necessarily the business. Because now you're creating the business for commercial value, which you are doing the side as well, but it's going to look fundamentally different. And that's sort of where I'm seeing. So you need to create it as an independent brand by itself. So the same way you'd apply, you know, approaching it as a personal brand, it would be the same as a business brand. So for me, I always just separate the two. I think it's just safer in the long run, because as a personal brand, you are a human being. I always say to people, before the brand, I'm a human being, and human beings are unpredictable. We are complex. You know, today won't look the same as yesterday, for example. So I think once you also get a community that's engaged with what you resonate with and who you are and what you stand for, it doesn't only just help you separate, but it also doubles the revenue, in my opinion. Because once they love you for one thing, you can continue to give that machine, right? And the business will also still stand on its own and feeding into their audience and what they're looking for and what matters to them. So it sort of doubles your revenue instead of like keeping it together. But I think when you do start, naturally it will start like together. And then at some point you need to find a way to just separate it. And this is honestly just from my personal experience, how I'm answering guys. So it's just like, Kopano, yes, is a part of KPRM and sorted, but Kopano the brand is definitely not, a part of KPRM or sorted, but it's more around selling more of Kopano over and above her just being a founder. But it's like, what else can Kopano bring? So this brings me to my next question, but that was such a beautiful exchange, guys. I hope you guys are learning, and I love it because it's a different perspective from the previous speakers. So this is very, very exciting. So tell me, what are some of the challenges, though? I mean, I can imagine they're working with Mash, right? And inherently, once they work with Mash, they, of course, then understand what Mash is attached to, whether that is Founder Source or the podcast, etc. What has been the challenges though, like doing this?
I think like there's the, I said like I didn't have a full intention to create a brand online, and now I'm sort of splitting it out into a media company to try and create like this, all these different things, right?
You heard
it.
You heard
and
it
like
first.
if you're conscious, you can see it happening online where I'm just like, I'm actually splitting it out and finding the right ways to make this sustainable, not today, but like for the next 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. And I think the challenges is like when you didn't set out to build a personal brand and now who you are is what people perceive you to be. And you can't live outside of that when you are outside.
That's
it's like,
a special one.
Yo, I'm not like, and I think what people will expect of you is in every moment that I engage with you, you must then put on the perspective and the idea of you that I have. It's like, it's a challenging thing, right? And I don't think of myself as like this grandiose figure who's become famous because he loved, like, this is just who I am, right? So you'll see, for example, I've abandoned certain platforms because I realized that it wasn't sustainable to try and live and exist at the fullest potential on all of them.
Every platform.
It's like, okay, that's important. Second part, I realized that the conversations I was having on my podcast were not the conversations I was having on my personal page. I needed to separate that so that people who deeply care and about the process of starting, building, and growing a business could have a place where they could gather. Like, can you just put us in a place where we want to be?
Our own group chat.
This is where we are. So I've started splitting out these platforms so that I can go back to myself, which is like, I love making great things. And I don't care about, sometimes it's not just about entrepreneurship. Sometimes it's just about life. Sometimes it's just about hiking, So I started going, okay, which platforms are super critical for where the community come together in that way, where it's like, I expect you to be Mash Startup. Mash Startup is not Mashudu Modau. Mash Startup is I always have some great thing to say that's going to keep your energy up. I'm going to do that. But I'm going to do it in a meaningful way, right? And I'm going to do it on Twitter. I'm going to do it on Instagram. I'm going to do it on LinkedIn. Maybe LinkedIn, a lot less motivational, a lot less like open conversation. LinkedIn's very like, okay, here is what we're focused on right now. You're creating course material. There's a structure. It's coming out on Tuesday. All of that. Twitter, I'm going to tweet at 12 o'clock at night.
Love it.
I'm going to tweet at night. I'm going to, whenever it is, I'm going to put it out. Right. Instagram, I'm relearning Instagram. I remember someone saying, because I posted something. Like something I just like enjoyed, right? Like it was a hiking thing. It's like, hey, so when are you going to post the quotes again? It's like,
I love that they actually asked.
It's like, hey, listen, I'm on my own journey here, right? Like I'm also like,
exactly.
If my vibe right now is just like I'm just going hiking a lot, I'm not writing as much as I do, right? I'm doing something different, right? So I've recently decided my TikTok is just my TikTok. I'm gonna just make stuff. I'm not going to be a talking head. I'm not gonna brand anything. I'm just gonna make stuff. And like people who want to be on that journey can be. But there's a reality to when you switch what the expected outcome is for other people, where they go, oh, I'm not part of this part of the journey. I'll come back when you get back on my horse, right? And I think of personal branding, especially in the TikTok age. Remember when TikTok was just about dancing? Just dance, right? I think that didn't change in people's minds. So when people see you do one good dance,
You're about to drop a gem.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Some people in the TikTok age, when people see you do a good dance, I want to see you do that dance, and only that dance, as many times as I want you to see. That's
Different
the dance.
variations, please.
You can
Keep them
you can
coming.
change the location, you can change the music,
Background.
do the dance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think because of the psychology of that, what people do on TikTok is they box creators into,
Yeah.
hey, this is the dance I want you to do. And if you're not doing that dance, I may abandon this project. I may not be part of this next part of your journey. So the caveat of a personal brand on certain platforms, I think, is maybe not allowing as much evolution in who you're becoming, who you're exploring yourself to be, who you want other people to see, right? So I've now turned very much to like, I want to just create really cool things that I really care about on TikTok and enjoy that journey. Did this plummet my views? Yes. Did it plummet my likes? Yes. Do I care?
No. Exactly.
Because the important thing here was we are on a very long journey, right? And I think my personal brand, and maybe I'm crystallizing it every day, is you are watching someone try and build something in real time. And sometimes they may not be so focused on the thing that you want them to be focused on, but they're evolving. What your choice needs to be is whether or not you want to be part of that person's journey as they keep going. And maybe this is where that separation thing comes in. Because now I can separate and say, okay, there's a page, a TikTok page, very long, it's beautiful. There's hundreds of videos where you can just learn about business. There's a page where you can just get the stuff that you need. And I think maybe we are limiting ourselves in sometimes just like everything needs to be on one thing. It's like, no. People came here for different parts of you, and trying to get them to embrace every part of you is a difficult part. But finding a way to keep them on the journey that you're going on, like Kibo Pelo, is life, guys.
Exactly.
Like, be part of my process.
Yes.
And trust me as well.
Yes, exactly. You know, you said something so special around just, you know, mentioning the different content formats and what you did and why they leaned into certain things, etc. What it tells me, and I think audience, please, I hope you guys are also taking notes here, is that when you're a personal brand, fundamentally, you're so different from a business brand because you have many things. I'm a human being, guys. I'm going to have multiple layers to myself. And I think once also personal brands start to sort of approach it in that way, where they don't necessarily have to box themselves, but they can also show quite a sweet spot that, yes, you may know me for the community building, being an enabler, etc. But I'm also still Mashudu. I love hiking and I want to create fun stuff, etc. So you can decide, yes or no. Are you going to be a part of that journey? And I think that's the beauty of the personal branding aspect. And I think I really liked what you touched on. And it was actually a question that I wanted to ask. How do you deal with the whole needing to be overly curated instead of just being real? Because that's also another topic, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to be, you know, running a personal brand or, you know, putting yourself out there, it's not necessarily going to be always curated, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Even just through my experience of running, you know, or doing what I'm doing, I realized that I also still want to show the different aspects of who I am. I don't think it's a wrong thing. And yes, I have a market and the people that I want to speak to, but I want that sweet spot of you seeing Kopano as a human being, because once you see me that way, you get to also relate to me. Sometimes, guys, you'll be surprised why people want to do work with you. So my previous speaker spoke about how she was so proud to be Lesotho born. And she said, usually I'd get people saying, hey, I want you to speak at my podcast because Omosot.
Yeah.
Boom. You know,
Exactly.
that's just a simple practical example to say it doesn't have to always be the academic side, like you mentioned. It's a good sweet spot. So how do you manage that?
Yeah, I think like I could have done better at sharing the journey and bringing people along on that journey.
Yeah.
I think it's very much like personal brand led businesses are so great because people go through a journey with someone.
Yeah.
I see you start mixing lotions in your house.
Yeah.
I see you find a factory. I see you find a partner, and you're building in public, and you're showing me the process of you building your business. So when you open your first store, I have to be there because I know you. I've saw
been
you
through the journey with you.
You know what I mean? And for me, for example, I remember I showed my first podcast microphone. It was a small little thing you plug into your phone.
Yeah.
People saw me do that. They saw me buy my first microphone, professional one, the first studio that I bought. I was sharing all those things because I was taking people along on a journey. Right?
Yeah.
I think you should never abandon that process.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very easy to do at the beginning because you understand that there's not much here. So it's okay to be flawed in the process. So you're okay with that. But I think as we get bigger and like you see the scale of the audience and this and that, you suddenly think and feel that you need to protect yourself and hold back a lot more. I don't think that's the right thing. I unfortunately fell victim to doing that. Like I was just like, maybe I need to be more curated. Maybe the camera it can only be HD. Maybe the conversations need to be perfect. There's no more DIY in it all. You know, I think if we don't abandon that sharing your process throughout, we take advantage of an opportunity that most people just don't have. And other people get to invest in you as a person, right? So there are people that I've followed and who have followed me since 2011, right? It's like, I know him. I've seen him. I saw him then. And even when they meet you now, it's like, yo, I remember when you were just doing podcasts in coffee shops and it sounded horrible. But I still listened because I knew you would not let me have a bad experience. It was an important conversation still, right?
100%,
so I think that would have been the good way to do it. The bad way to do it is to overnight completely change what you're doing and make people have a visceral experience where they go, no, but what is this? Like, where did this come from? I think I did that a lot, unfortunately. Like, that was a mistake I did where I was just like, okay, I'm over this. I'm focusing on me. I'm going to put what I want.
Yeah.
And then people unfollow you. I don't take that very personally at all because I understand now that, I no longer am creating the kind of value that you need in this part of your journey.
Absolutely.
Okay, I understand. And then when you keep doing what you're doing and you're doing it in different ways, people come back.
Yeah.
There's people, it says, so-and-so followed you back. But I knew this person. They followed me 3 years ago. It's like, oh no.
Back. Okay.
It's like, no, I was taking a break when now you're doing something else.
Absolutely.
But I'm coming back to you because I am now at a stage. And here's another thing. Don't ever underestimate that other people are on their own journey.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe the things that you are creating and putting out is difficult for them in this time.
Yeah.
It challenges them in ways that they are not yet ready to be challenged.
100%.
Maybe it pushes them in directions that they don't. Maybe there's a misalignment in this moment. And as our journeys keep going, they may intersect again and you go, oh no, I remember Mash. I love what he says. Now he's not putting it in quotes. He's not putting it in writing. It's a conversation. And in future, it's a movie, it's a documentary, and it's an experience. And you realize that, this person's on their own journey. I am getting to join on that journey. I can come out, I can come back in, I can come out, I can come back in.
Yeah.
So it's really just about like embracing the idea of a journey.
Yeah.
I do think over curating is killing the value of social media, the importance of it. The flawedness was important. My Instagram about 3 years ago was food, coffee.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when you used to just post food on your timeline?
Listen,
just like lunch.
Exactly.
Bah.
Yeah.
Coffee. Bah.
1,000
I'm on a
likes.
mountain. Bah. And everyone was just like, let's go.
Exactly. We love this.
The vibe.
Yeah.
And now it's like, if I posted the food, I don't know what that would look like.
Got you.
And I think, is it the evolution of people, the platforms? What is it, right? And I think there's some platforms where I'm very, very controlled in what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, LinkedIn, for example, is very much focused on ecosystem insights and podcasts.
Yes.
I understand what that platform is for.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with it sometimes. I think we could be a lot more relaxed and be more human
100%.
about our engagements on that platform.
100%.
Like,
I agree.
we are not transactions, we are people still.
I agree.
But I understand it deserves a lot more of that control. On other platforms, I am not afraid of starting a page from scratch and doing it from zero, because I realize the importance and value of creating spaces for people to consume and be able to learn and engage in the ways they care about on specific things in specific ways. So TikTok, it's separated. got a personal one, I've got a TikTok one,
Yeah.
I've got a founder source,
Exactly.
other ones as well.
Yes.
I'm starting a TikTok for fun. This is an exclusive.
There we go, guys.
I'm gonna start a TikTok called
Yeah.
Nyezaza.
Okay.
I've already reserved it, so I can say it. So these are Ray-Ban Metas.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna capture life
Yeah.
with these. And yeah, I'm just gonna start a TikTok
Awesome.
where I'm just recording content with the glasses.
You
Why?
guys heard it.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
why not?
And I also think it's like a different experience, right?
Yeah.
Of how it's going to be shot, how it's going to look. It's going to definitely give a different vibe. But thank you so much, Mashudu, for sharing your story. I think more than anything, what I got to receive in this specific session is, guys, knowing your why and understanding what your value system is incredibly important when you're building a brand, especially a personal brand. Like, I understand business brand, it's you know, the academics of it, you're feeding a certain, you know, audience, etc. But when it's you and you're selling yourself, guys, it's different. The ball game changes. It's more around, how do I strategically showcase different aspects of myself and people being okay with that, and not necessarily feeling like, I'm only here for one thing, so I don't think I'm going to do that. But I think also we need to get comfortable as people that brands are not, you know, one-sided anymore.
They're living.
They're living, morphing, growing every day. And really, that's what you sort of really touched on today. And I'm really, really glad that you've, you know, decided to just give us your time and your 2 cents around your experience and seeing how your personal brand has really created so much effect. And I'm really, really hoping that you guys get to learn a thing or two from our amazing guest, Mashudu Modau. And that's it from me, Kopano Moshwana, guys, aka The Brand. See you guys next time. Cheers.